Hey everyone. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit this evening and just share my heart with you. I don't do this very often, so you'll have to just excuse me for not being great at this. But I just have some things that are really laying heavy on me that I really want to talk to y'all about. There's a lot going on in our world right now, and I know you guys know that. There's a lot going on in our country. We're living in unprecedented times, for sure. Our country right now is at a precipice. If you don't know what a precipice is, it's a point. It's a tip. It's like the tip of a triangle, and our country is sitting right on the top of it. Okay, our country's going to go one of two ways. It could go either way. So which way is it going to go? If we've got a ball sitting right on top of the tip of a triangle, which way is it going to fall? It's going to fall according to whichever side is placing the most pressure, whichever side is putting the most energy against it. Okay? So if this side over here is putting energy against that ball's going this way. If this side over here is putting energy on it, it's going that way. All right? Well, this is our country. All right? We've got we the people over here putting energy on this side. We've got a government over here putting energy on this side. All right? Whichever side puts in the most energy is going to determine the fate of our country. And, you know, I've been talking to a lot of people the last few days. Strangers, just walking up to truckers, walking up to strangers and talking about the state our country's in and what we're trying to do about it. And you know what I've realized that just really boggles my brain, that I just really don't understand? So many people don't even realize what's happening. They don't realize that our freedoms are already gone. And I don't say that lightly. They don't understand why this is even important. So tonight I want to take just a few minutes to tell you why it's important. To tell you why I'm fighting. Why I'm standing. I was created by a loving God, by an almighty, amazing, perfect, holy God. So are you. My God created me with a free will, with the ability to make choices. He created me to be free. He didn't create me to be someone else's slave. He created me to be free. I live in a country where I am blessed to live under a constitution of laws that guarantees those freedoms to me. This Constitution guarantees me that my freedoms will be upheld. Okay? I have a government in this country that is supposed to uphold the laws that are contained in that Constitution. That's not happening right now. And we are very, very quickly losing our rights and our freedoms. And I just want to go over a few of them with you to show you, because I want people to understand what it is we're fighting for. You need to know what it is your children are going to lose, because they're going to lose it if what's not already lost. But I want to start out by making something very, very clear. This is only about freedom. This is not about politics. It's not about race. It's not about sex. It's not about whether or not you took a vaccine. It's not about whether or not you want to wear a mask. This has nothing to do with any of that. This has to do with freedom, with your freedom to make a choice for yourself. That's what this is about. And it's that freedom that's gone. Not that it's going to be gone. It is gone. And I want to just talk to you guys for just a few minutes about which freedoms I'm talking about and how they've disappeared already. The first one I want to talk about is our freedom of speech. We're supposed to have freedom of speech in this country. That means we're supposed to be able to express ourselves without censorship. We're supposed to be able to speak against policies that we don't agree with. This country was founded on people who spoke against policies they didn't agree with. Okay? We're supposed to be able to do that. Right now in this country, we do not have freedom of speech. That right is gone. That freedom is gone. You need to understand it's already gone. The only speech that we're allowed to have right now is the speech that agrees with the current agenda. The speech that agrees with what the government says. Anybody that speaks against what the government says is immediately shut down, censored, stopped, called out, punished. I know this personally. Trust me. I've been kicked off Facebook as much as anybody. Censorship. Because I dared to speak my truth. We're not allowed to do that anymore. That freedom of speech is already gone. It's in the past. And let me assure you, once the government takes one right from us, they're not giving it back. They're not giving it back easily. I can promise you that. Look at history. You don't even have to look that far. Another is our right to peacefully assemble. That's being taken away. Very quickly being taken away. It's still here for the moment, and we're going to take advantage of it. But we're already receiving threats about it. We're already being told our bank accounts will be frozen. Our driver's licenses could be suspended for life. Our cars could be impounded for life. We're going to be called out. They will take pictures of our vehicles. They're already telling us this is going to happen. If you choose to protest, this is what is going to happen. Okay? So we don't have the right to peacefully assemble anymore. All right? That's going away very quickly. Our freedom of religion. This country was founded on religious freedom. But during this pandemic, I don't know if you know it or not, churches have been shut down by the government. Pastors and congregants have been arrested and fined for daring to go to church when the government told them not to. Okay? And you can say, oh, there was a pandemic. Okay? Even in a pandemic, we are free citizens. We are free to make our choices. If we choose to go to a church building and have church, that's a choice we've taken on ourselves. Bars weren't closed. Think about that for a second. Bars weren't closed. People could go into bars and have drinks. But you go to a church and you're going to be arrested. Okay? Let that sink in for a second. If this were truly about health and this were truly about a pandemic, everything would have been shut down. Okay? Bars would have been shut down. They weren't. Our freedom of religion is quickly disappearing. Our pastors are being threatened that if they speak about what God says about marriage, that's now considered hate speech. They could be fined or imprisoned for hate speech, for teaching what God says, for teaching what the Bible says. Guys, our children are not going to be able to go to a church and learn what God says without censorship. They're not. It's quickly going away. It's quickly disappearing. They're not going to be able to do it. Our freedom of privacy. We no longer have freedom of privacy, y'all. That's gone. That's long gone. That's long gone. Okay? With the internet, we lost all privacy. We carry cell phones on us every day that tells the government where we are, who we're talking to, what we're saying, all the time. We have no privacy. Do you know that the government froze the bank accounts of everybody that donated to the Freedom Truckers in Canada? Froze their bank accounts because they donated to a cause they believed in. They released their names and their addresses and had their bank accounts frozen. Think about that. You have no privacy. Our freedom of privacy, our rights to privacy, they're gone. And then there's the most basic of all of our freedoms. The most basic is our bodily autonomy. That means our right to choose what we put into our body. Our right to choose what kind of medical treatments we want. Guys, I have been a nurse for 30 years. 30 years. And the one thing that has been pounded into us from the very beginning throughout the whole, as long as I've been a nurse, as long as medicine's been around actually, but as long as I've been a nurse personally, I can tell you, the one thing that we have to abide by, the oath that we take, is that we can never force anyone to take any kind of medical treatment they don't want to take. Can't do it. We can't. We are to fully inform them of what their treatment options are, help them to see the benefits and the negatives of that treatment, but then they have to choose. So if I have a 45-year-old patient who has cancer that's very treatable, I can give them their options. I can tell them that they will be fine if they take this treatment. But if they decide that they don't want the treatment, that they want to just let the cancer take its course and die peacefully, I have to let that 45-year-old make that choice. And guess what? I can't threaten him. I can't force him. I can't tell him, if you don't take this chemo, you're not going to be able to go to work tomorrow. If you don't take this chemo, your benefits are going to be cut off. If you don't take this chemo, you're not going to be able to support your family anymore. Can't do that. Y'all, that's illegal. That is illegal, 100% illegal to do that. But yet that's what's happening right now. All across this country. Our government is telling us, you have to take this medical treatment. We're not given a choice. Oh, you have the choice. Yeah, I have a choice. My choice is I take this medical treatment into my body that I don't want, or I'm going to lose my job. What kind of choice is that? I'm going to lose my benefits. My family's not going to have medical insurance anymore. I'm going to lose my career, not just my job, but my entire career. This is happening. I'm living proof of it. All right. These healthcare mandates have cost me my job because I refused to take a medical treatment that I didn't want. So my job and my benefits were taken. But not only that, I can't get another job. I can't get another job in healthcare because healthcare, all healthcare workers in every field of healthcare are mandated to take this vaccine. So anywhere that I try to go to get a job as a nurse, nope. Vaccine's required. And you know what they tell me? Well, you can ask for a religious exemption. That's their exception. You can ask for a religious exemption. So what they're telling me is that in order for my rights, my God-given, guaranteed by the U.S. Constitution rights, I have to ask to have those rights granted to me in order for me to be able to work my job. I have to have them approved. I have to have somebody judge my religious beliefs as appropriate in order to be able to exempt myself out of this vaccine and keep my job. You know what? If I have to ask for approval for my rights, my God-given U.S. Constitution guaranteed rights, they were never rights to start with. They were privileges. You ask for privileges. You ask to have privileges granted. You don't ask to have your rights granted. I'm not asking to have my rights granted to me. They're rights. They're my God-given U.S. Constitution guaranteed rights. I should never have to ask for that. No one should. No one should have to ask to have the rights God gave them granted or approved. That's lunacy, y'all. It's lunacy. But yet it's happening. It's illegal, but yet it's happening. It's happening right now. It happened to me. It's happened to hundreds of thousands, probably millions of healthcare workers in this country already. It's happening to the truckers right now who are being told they can't sit in their truck completely alone and drive for hours on end unless they have a vaccine. Well, now that makes a lot of sense, don't it? So we're not going to mandate Congress. All of our congressmen and our House of Representatives, our president, none of them are mandated. We're not going to force them to have a vaccination, before they can sit in Congress all side by side. But these truckers who are in their trucks by themselves for hours on end, yeah, they have to have a vaccine or they can't drive. Their CDL license are going to be taken. Yeah, that makes sense. This is what's happening right now. Okay? This is it. Parents are losing custody of their children in this country right now because they are unvaccinated and they don't want their child to be vaccinated. Think about that for a second. You don't believe me? Look it up. There have been several cases of custody hearings where one parent wanted the child vaccinated and the other parent didn't. The one who wanted the child vaccinated receives full custody, while the unvaccinated parent is considered not fit because they're not vaccinated. And they lose custody. Not even visitation, they lose custody. Okay? That's happening. It's happening right now. We have doctors right now in hospitals right now that are telling people who have no vaccine, who have not taken this vaccine, this COVID vaccine, telling them that they're not going to treat them. They're not going to treat them if they're not vaccinated. Can't be my patient anymore if you're not vaccinated. That's happening right now in this country. Our free America. That's happening right now. We've given them control of our bodies by allowing them to tell us what we can and cannot put into them. Think about that. The government now has the power to tell us what we can and cannot put into our bodies. The government has the power to force us to put something into our bodies that we don't want. Okay? Where does that go next? Think about it. And you may think, oh, you're being, you're going overboard. That's never going to happen. It's not going to go any further than that. A year ago, we didn't think it would go this far. A year ago, if I had told you, and I did, but that's beside the point, that they were going to force mandates for vaccines on everybody, you would have, and most did, say, oh, that's never going to happen. That won't happen in this country. It did. It happened. And it's going to keep happening. Today, it's you have to take this vaccine. Today, it's if you're not vaccinated, you don't get medical treatment. Okay? Tomorrow, what's it going to be? Tomorrow, is it going to be, well, due to this child's disability, they don't warrant treatment. They're not worth saving. You don't think it's going to go that far? We didn't think it would come this far. Speaking as a parent with children with disabilities, this one hits hard for me because it's already happening in other countries. And when we give the government that kind of power and that kind of control, who are they going to be looking out for? Are they going to be looking out for us? Are they going to be looking out for our children who have disabilities? Are they going to be looking out for our parents who have chronic conditions? No. Are they going to be wasting their resources on these people? Think about it. No. The more power we give them, the more power they'll take. And once they take it, they won't give it back. That's why I'm fighting. That's why I'm standing. I have to be able to look my children in the eyes at some point in the future and tell them I did everything I could. I did everything humanly possible to make sure that you were free and safe. Everything. I was willing to go to jail for you. I was willing to die for you to make sure that you had a safe and free country to grow up in. That's why I fight. Right now, our country is on a precipice. It's going to fall one of two ways. And which way it goes is going to depend on which side is willing to put the most energy in. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. Will you stand with me? Will you stand with me for the freedoms that we've already lost that we want back and the freedoms that we are quickly losing?